Well, in the final week in office, Sri Lanka's outgoing president, Maithripala Sirisena, has caused outrage worldwide by pardoning a death row prisoner. Remember, Sri Lanka goes to polls in just 3 days. Now, let's give you a brief of what the Royal Park murder case is. In Colombo, 2005, a man from a wealthy, high-profile family, Jude Jayamaha, was convicted for brutally killing a teenage girl, Wion Johnson. Now, victim Johnson, a dual national Swedish and Sri Lankan, was beaten to death over an argument. During the trial, the court was told that her skull had been fractured into 64 pieces. Jeremiah was initially given 12 years in prison, but after an appeal against him, jail time was rejected and he was sentenced to death. In an unusual decision, though, 5 years later, the Sri Lankan president has let Jeremiah walk free from prison. Sirisena backed his decision by saying that Jeremiah had behaved well in prison and had been jailed for aged 19 over an incident of impatience, and a few reports suggest that Jeremiah is a distant relative of President Sirisena. This has met with major backlash not only from Sri Lankan people but from other inmates too. Two death row convicts climbed onto the roof of the jail demanding presidential pardon as well. Several other inmates are staging a hunger strike in prison to back their demands. This decision is being called unusual because Sirisena's stand on death penalty has always been out in the open. He outrightly backs executions and has worked majority of his presidency resuming death penalties. The victim, Wion Johnson's sister, Caroline Johnson Bradley, took to Facebook expressing her grief.
As Ivan's sister, it breaks my heart to have to respond to the recent news about the president considering a pardon for my sister's murderer. But I feel it is my duty to do so. This moment right now is surreal. Did I know that my sister's murderer being released was something my family and I could have to face someday? Of course we did, as his family has used power and money in their attempts to get him released, but not for the reasons recently outlined by the president.
And by replying to President Sirisena's justification for this decision, Caroline also spoke again. Let's listen in.
My sister's murder was not someone losing their patience over a disagreement. It was premeditated.
President Sirisena will not be contesting in next Saturday's presidential election. He failed to get support from his party to contest the poll. This election will be the first since 1982 when the incumbent president, prime minister or opposition leader would not be a candidate in the election in Sri Lanka.